The classroom was silent, so silent that even a pin drop could be heard. A deep, commanding voice echoed through the hall, filled with authority and precision. It was Professor Jungkook, the youngest professor in India University. He was so strict that none of the students dared to utter a single word in front of him, yet so handsome that every girl secretly had a crush on him. From the second row, one sat quietly, pretending to focus on his lecture, but in truth, she was admiring him. Yes, Jungkook, her secret cold professor husband. Jungkook's deep voice once again filled with room, calm but commanding. Alright everyone, I hope you don't have any problems with this, he said. Yes sir, the students responded in unison. Without another word, Jungkook gathered his belongings and walked out of the room. His presence lingering in the air even after he was gone. One side, her friends who were sitting beside her were chatting casually when one of them suddenly said, "So did you guys hear the new rumor?" One frowned slightly. Her friend Mina leaned in and added, "Oh yeah, I heard that Professor Sana like our Professor Jion." At that moment, Wan's heart skipped a beat. Her pulse quickened at Mina's word. No one in the university knew about the marriage to Jungkook till now. Another friend joined in giggle. Well, Mr. Jion is really handsome. It's normal for girls to have a crush on him. Wan clenched her fist under the table but forced a small smile, not wanting to say much. Then Mina spoke again, teasingly. But what if Mr. June also like Professor Sana? Don't you think they made a cute pair? Wan's eyes widened slightly, and before she could stop herself, she buttered out nervously, I don't think Mr. June likes her. He never even looks at other girls." Her friends exchanged glances and nodded thoughtfully. Yeah, true, he doesn't really seem interested in anyone. One of them said, I'm just curious if he has someone special in his life or not. Wine went quiet. She lowered her gaze, hiding the mix of emotion in her eyes pride, jealousy, and a small age she couldn't quite explain. It was evening now. After university, Jungkook and Wine were on their way home. Jungkook was driving as usual, the city light reflecting softly on his face. But tonight he noticed something different. Wine was unusually quiet. She wasn't chatting about her day, her classes, or the funny little things that usually fill the silence between them. Normally the car would echo with her soft voice and cheerful tone, but now there was only silence. Jungkook's brow frowned slightly as he glanced at her. She was staring out the window, lost in thought. Curiosity took over him. Are you okay? He asked in a deep, calm voice. Are you hungry? One flinched a little at his sudden question, then forced a small smile, then shook her head. He tried again, his tone a bit softer this time. We can go somewhere to eat dinner if you want. But Wine wasn't in the mood. The rumor about Professor Sana liking Jungkook still echoed in her mind. Her heart felt heavy. What if he likes her too? She thought maybe that's why he always keeps his distance from me. Her overthinking started to twist every little thing he did. Every silence, every look, every word. Jungkook called her name again, pulling her out of her thoughts. One blinked and replied softly, her voice barely above a whisper. No, I'm not hungry right now. Let's go home. I'm a little tired. Jungkook looked at her for a moment, his gaze unreadable. But he didn't push further. He simply nodded once and continued driving, the quiet between them now heavier than before. It was late at night. When Jungkook entered their shared bedroom, he saw Wine, already fast asleep. That was unusual. She never fell asleep this early. Normally, she would wait for him, talk endlessly about her day, share little stories, or simply sit beside him and chat. Until she grew sleepy. But tonight was different. Jungkook paused at the doorway, his brow knitted in a quiet concern. He couldn't quite understand what had happened to her. She had been quiet all evening, withdrawn, distant, unlike her usual self. With a soft sigh, he turned off the lights, leaving the only faint glow of the bedside lamp. He slipped under the blanket and lay down beside her. For a long moment, he just stared at her peaceful face, her hair gently spread across the pillow. Without saying a word, Jungkook reached out and carefully pulled her into his arms. His touch was gentle, almost hesitant, as if afraid to wake her. He gazed at her face for a while, his eyes softening, and then he brushed a thumb against her cheek. Leaning closer, he placed a tender kiss on her cheek. Cute, he said deep and softly. It has been 1 month since their marriage, an arranged one, decided by their parents who had been best friends for years. But in that short time, Jungkook couldn't deny the fact he had fallen for her deeply. Her chatter, her brighter smile, the way she filled the room with warmth and laughter, everything about her made his heart flutter in a way he couldn't explain. And yet, despite his growing feelings, he had kept his distance. He wanted to give her space, to let her breathe, adjust, and made her feel comfortable. It was an arranged marriage, after all, and he didn't want to rush things. He wanted to build trust first, to make sure one feels safe with him. He didn't want to burden her with the weight of marriage responsibilities too soon. He just wanted her to focus on herself, her studies, her dreams, her career. But each day passed, Jungkook found himself falling for her even more hopelessly, lost somewhere between restraints and desire.